Such a fantastic show. Stopping by for us tonight. He is our new associate pastor. We're going to have a sit down. We're going to get to know Matt German tonight. Very excited. His back's giving him issues, but his evangelism is not. So I'm excited to talk to him. I mean, he's had all these back problems, but he just keeps saying Jesus' name over and over, so I know he's still very Let's enjoy him. Give it up for Matt German.
You're on Facebook Live.
Yahoo!
Hi, Matt German.
What's up, Jon Cooper?
How you doing?
Oh, so... We'll post that later. Doing well.
That makes. I was just. Do you watch Modern Family by chance?
I don't.
I don't know if I can relate.
I killed his first joke.
Gabby and I were watching an episode, and Cam and what?
Mitchell.
Cam and Mitchell are out to dinner, and a couple is eating next to them, and the guy wants to propose, so Cam's like, oh, I'll videotape it. Well, he videotapes it, and she says no. So he goes to put the phone down and immediately replays what he just recorded, so all you keep hearing is, no.
Well, I'm glad you all clapped. If you would have booed, that would have been really awkward.
As soon as you sit down, boo! Like, great, this is going well.
Yeah.
So, you've had a little bit of time
Yeah.
to settle in. What do you think, man? How are you liking the FUMC?
The FUMC. You know, we are loving it, and we are loving you guys. And I'll tell you why, because you guys have just proven to be a church that loves on your pastors and your staff and just everyone who comes through these doors. I can't tell you how welcomed we felt the evening that we got here, John. We had our movers pack us up starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we got here at 6 o'clock at night. It was such a long day, so much packed into that day. And it was so cool to show up and to have SPRC people and trustees and other lay people from the church just show up and just drop food off and say, hey, it's great to meet you. And, you know, every chance that we got to be in the building, someone is always coming up and introducing themselves and just saying, hey, you know, it's so cool to meet you. And we felt the same way. It's such a welcoming church. The facility here is awesome. It lends to so many different types of ministry that we can change the world with, and it's exciting to be a part of it because of you guys. That's why.
Well, we're glad to have you. And I got to ask, just not judging you, but giving you a look down. You're a pastor, man. Okay, you come in here with your shiny watch. You got all these piercings. Do you find as a pastor that people are surprised when you introduce yourself as a pastor, given that you don't look like the traditional pastor? You're obviously very hip and in tune with what us young folk are into.
Do young folks say hip anymore? I don't know.
I say dope a lot. And Gabby, she just looks at me like, when did you start saying dope? I'm like, well, I'm not gonna, like, because the new thing is savage. I don't even get that. That's so savage.
I said cray cray the other day. My 2.5 daughter looked at me. She was like, no.
But do you find as a pastor that people are caught off guard when?
You know, it's sometimes, but at the same time, I find that the only way that I can be truly who I'm called to be in ministry is to be authentically me. And I think the only way that you can be effective in even what you do here at Fusion is to be authentically Jon. You know, it's cool because, you know, there was when I first moved to Marengo. We moved here from Marengo, and we served in Marengo for 4 years. And I was really excited about my first Easter Sunday service. You know, it's like the Super Bowl Sunday of the liturgical year, so to speak.
It's a good Sunday.
It is a good
Real
Sunday.
good Sunday.
And you know, at the time, you know, my wife and I, we lived in Dubuque because we were going to seminary, and we were commuting to Marengo for 6 months before I graduated, which is about a 2.5-hour drive one way. So during Holy Week, you know, we have Holy Thursday service, we have Good Friday, with you know, Easter Sunday's coming, and I decided to drive down to Marengo and spend the night in the parsonage. And we hadn't moved there yet, you know, so we have this. I'm flopping on this air mattress, you know, and I come down on Saturday morning and I hit the church office, and I'm so excited about what I'm going to preach about on Sunday, and I look at the clock and it's 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to eat, and I start opening the phone book, you know, because I'm new to the community. I really don't know what there is to eat around, and the only thing that's open at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday night in Marengo is Casey's Pizza. And
that is a good thing.
And it's a delicacy. I'm not knocking the Casey's Pizza, but you know, I went to Casey's, and there was a guy behind the desk. I'll never forget his name. His name is Alec, and he's taking my pizza order. And he starts telling me about, you know, I start asking about different recipes, and he's like, you know, can you make a buffalo chicken pizza? He's like, yeah, but, you know, we don't make it very good here. But I tell you what, I can hook you up. I'll put some extra sauce, I'll put some extra cheese on it. And, you know, I'm a foodie. Any foodies in here? I get really excited when we start talking about food, and I start getting a little bit more animated in this conversation. And then he starts talking about he's like, and I can hook you up with some cheesy bread. And I start getting really, really excited about cheesy bread. Oh. You know? And he starts telling me all about it. And I don't even remember what I preached about that Sunday, but I remember this conversation with Alec. And next week I come in there and he says, hey, cheesy bread! He called me cheesy bread for 6 months, which was actually quite endearing. And then after that, John, he, you know, 6 months later, he says, so what brought you to the community? I said, well, actually, I'm the preacher at the Methodist Church. And he said, shut the up.
Jesus Christ, are you serious?
You know, I was like, yeah. And he's like, you're a pastor? I was like, yeah, I'm a pastor. He's like, but you're so down to earth. I was like, so was Jesus. Right? I mean, Jesus is God's down to earth, you know?
Like,
and
literally and figuratively.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, long story short, you know, some people, you know, that, yeah, I probably don't look like a traditional pastor, but in a lot of ways it allows me to connect with a lot of non-traditional folks who normally wouldn't feel like that they could come into a church building. And I find that exciting.
I like that. And Casey's, quick plug, Mila Kunis, right? She hasn't married Ashton Kutcher yet.
They're married.
They're married with a baby. They asked her in an interview her favorite snack food, and she was like, there's a place called Casey's Pizza in Iowa, and she said that is her favorite snack food. And I was like, represent!
Well, Ashton Kutcher's actually from the
Yeah, he's
area
from
around
Cedar
there.
Rapids.
Yeah, yes.
He went from being like, kind of, I don't want to say anything derogatory, he went from being a kid to being a really well-rounded out dude. He really grew into his role. But we're not here to talk about Ashton Kutcher. We're here to talk about you. And I like the point of, you know, being unconventional and reaching unconventional people, because when you think about Jesus, you know, a lot of times we as people get uncomfortable around certain types of people that maybe we don't know or don't understand. And the cool thing about Jesus is he was never uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That guy was never uncomfortable with anything. He could go into any crowd and he was just like, what's up?
That's right.
Jesus, you heard about me? Pretty cool guy. You know, but so we're very excited to have you, because I like that you approach life that way.
Sure.
As far as, you know, we're not here to just go grab all the suit jacket wearing church folk. We're here to grab everybody.
Folks like Jon Cooper, for example.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I've been filtered out quite a bit. There's Jon Cooper outside of church who needs to watch his mouth, and then there's Jon Cooper in church who watches his mouth most of the time.
Sure.
But I like that, and I think that's one of the things we're so excited is to have that outreach, that ability to reach people and talk to people that maybe wouldn't necessarily give us a try or give us a second thought. I have to ask you, there's a lot going on, right? You're a foodie, so I know Wednesday night meals is going to be up there. Do you have a thing you've gravitated to more so than others since you've been here? A certain ministry or purpose. Is there anything about this church that stood out to you that you said, yes, I'm going to do that? Is it too soon, or is there anything that's caught your interest yet?
That's a great question, because I've actually been saying no a lot lately, believe it or not, because it's one of the things that's really cool, because like you said, there's so much stuff going on here, and we're trying to kind of feel our way around a little bit and say, we can say yes to everything that we see, and yet at the same time, like everyone else, God has given me certain gifts and graces, and God has given you certain gifts and graces. And yeah, I could sign up to do this, but maybe my best I can give that as a 6, right? And I'm devoting, how many hours a week doing a 6 where I could be giving God a 9 or a 10, over here, where and taking ministry from someone else over here who could live into that, that 9 or 10. So. One of the things that we're doing is that we're just being so intentional about, rather than trying to get it involved right away, is to observe. I think as a pastor coming into a new congregation, our job is not to come in and tell people how to do ministry. Our job is to come in and to learn how ministry is being done. How can we come alongside, and how can we learn together, and how can we grow together? We point people to the gospel, but ultimately, though, the pastor's job is to equip the church to be the ministers. Hopefully, you don't need Steve and I someday. That's the dream of the pastor. We're learning. That's our goal right now.
You're just like checking every box here, sir. I'm getting more. The more I talk to you, I think the more I'm excited that you are at our church. And not at some other dumb church that's not us. We're the best. So you're going to help. And I love that. I think I'm just so excited to have you. I've loved your insight on stuff that we're doing. I love that you've immersed yourself in kind of what we're doing. And I think you're just going to be an outstanding fit. And hopefully, as good as you are to us, we can return that, so that, the 20-80 rule, the 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, hopefully we are able to work with you instead of just watching you, because it's going to be easy to watch you do your thing. I think, yeah, that guy's got it. I'm just going to eat Cheerios with the kids in the back. But I'm really excited to have you on board. Gosh, I feel like if I keep talking to you, I'm not going to have time for Carl, so I'm going to let you go.
That's all right.
But
Keep talking, Carl. Keep talking.
But I just want to, from me to you, from everybody here, from the entire church body, we are so excited to have you. You are going to breathe such a positive vibe into this church, and you're just going to take us to the moon and back. So, Matt, it is a pleasure to have you. Matt German, our new associate pastor.